And good morning and welcome to your Wednesday. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. I am, of course, joined by my business partner and co host, Mr. Fish, who is pretty much a bust at being both. But, he put so much into the company, I can't really buy him out at this point. So you can help us out with that going forward. We'll explain how that can happen in a bit. This is, yes, still things you might have heard for Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. And if you stop by our main website, this is the conversationproject.com. Maybe you can help us buy out Mr. Fish by going to our partnerships page or our sponsorships page, or just seeing what's going on and maybe finding something that you're going to dig into, keep things going. This partnership is not quite going as well as I thought it was going to be, but he is a beta fish, so I should have thought about that on the front end. What do I have for you today is 8 stories to get into. Actually, 9 stories. I actually mislabeled a story and found I had an extra story in the batch. 9 stories of top stories of the past day that you vetted as the most conversational stories to go into. So we'll get into them pretty much right now. Starting off with 1 in a million bright blue lobster caught by father and son in Maine. Let's just call this Wednesday morning going into Tuesday afternoon a slowish news day if you weren't doing things that weren't essentially building onto the past couple of days. Essentially, anything that's not Donald Trump doing Donald Trump stuff is not making the big headline news, folks. So this is what we have going forward. But it's also a very big, kind of cool story. 1 in 2 million bright blue lobsters. You saw that in the picture for the cover of today's video. Are born, created, birthed, raised in the oceans, and a father and son duo out lobster fishing found one of these things. Caught one of these things the other day. A great bonding issue and a great kind of cool thing to talk about what's going on. Let's move on to the next story, which is Desus Nice fills in on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Check out the link for this one and go deeper into what he had in his monologue and how he handled himself. Handled himself very well for a lot of critics saying that he did pretty well. Now, of course, he is basically known right now from Desus and Mero Desus, those guys, the Bodega Boys who went to cable news or cable television and went bigger from their podcast and then had a split over essentially a beef with, how do we treat family? Their manager was being a jerk on set. The company was like, yeah, we need to keep this guy away. Merrill's like, yeah, I agree. We've outgrown this guy. Desus is like, nah, I don't agree. We need this guy. And they split. However, that split was a bit more orchestrated than we were led to believe. And now they're doing their own life, their own things. And looks like Desus, although saying you want to go back to more of the basic things, he's hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live. Sounds like a pretty big move to me. The Flash star Ezra Miller apologizes, seeking mental health treatment. The star of The Flash, that being the movies The Flash, is a crazy person. There's something wrong with the star of The Flash, Ezra Miller. And now he's apologizing for all his crazy misdeeds, including the sexual assault allegations and just robbing random people in Vermont. He's seeking mental health treatment for himself to better himself, not so much to save his career, because we'll see what that happens. But right now, he's saying the right things about fixing himself going forward. We'll see how it goes. And we also always hope for the best in these situations. We also know, as people with eyes, that sometimes people can't fight their demons or just don't want to really fight their demons. And this is a case where we'll see how this plays out in the long run. U.S. First Lady Jill Biden tests positive for COVID-19. Why this says U.S. First Lady? Well, we got this from a British tabloid where it popped up. Mr. Biden turned out fine, but Lady Biden, she did not. She is isolated and still hanging out in a home they had on vacation. Now, this is the thing. This is not the working stuff that's happening. The Bidens are on vacation this week. They're taking time off, and Lady Biden is going to stay at basically the bed and breakfast, the hotel, the Airbnb where they're staying at, and the president staying in a separate quarters location so that he can get some work done, because he has to do working vacations and not get sick again. And of course, spend the next 3 months testing positive, because he basically didn't get very strong of a case of COVID, but he could not test negative, which was what kept him on the shelf for an extended period of times, which oddly enough, people think is what kept the nation going very well, because Biden wasn't out there, saying Biden stuff. Your mileage on that may vary. We hope for a quick negative test result from Ms. Biden, because we're pretty sure she doesn't have any serious symptoms. Also, Biden administration cancels $3.9 billion in student debt for 208,000 borrowers defrauded by ITT Tech. This is something that's been planned and basically was going to happen, but this is now official. Anyone who spent money with ITT Tech, which has been gone for such a long time, has that student get debt basically canceled by them. Basically, I don't know if you want to say the government paid it off or just said, screw it, it's done. That's going to be gone as of right now, essentially. What is ITT Tech? If you're only been alive for the last 10 years, maybe you have no idea what's going on. ITT Tech was one of the TV colleges that have been on the air for years, decades maybe, that they were all over doing the ads in the middle of the day for people looking to advance their careers and do things. Essentially, while you're watching Jerry Springer, the ITT Tech a commercial pop up and tell you, hey, you can go out there and do great things with us. The problem was the materials was shoddy, the teachers were shoddy, the whole thing was shoddy, and it was basically a way to scam people out of money with some fake credentials that barely got people into interviews, let alone got them real high-paying jobs in the technical world. ITT Tech, long gone. Of course, the big old smackdown by President Obama taking care of all of the for-profit colleges that were just basically taking money out of people's pockets. ITT Tech being one of them, long gone. And so they, being the Biden administration, i.e. the government, has eliminated the debt for ITT Tech borrowers. Now, the referendum, the moratorium on student loan stuff is supposed to end at the end of this month. And we'll see whether it gets extended or not. Eventually, we all have to go back to paying our loans, and that's what's going to happen, except for ITT Tech folks, of course. But eventually, we all have to go back to paying some of our loans because they're businesses and can't just wipe out everybody. So that's going to happen sooner or later. But right now, we know that one of the badder agents in the world that was basically just taking money and not training, ITT Tech, there is some justice, some relief for people who are still in the hook for that money. Little League World Series players suffers head injury after falling from bunk bed. This is a very, very sad story. A Little League team from Utah, it was the first team from Utah to actually make the Little League World Series, had an incident where one of the players fell from a bunk bed, had a head injury, and now is actually in a coma, hoping to survive, hoping that he lives. This is, like I said, extremely tragic story. Young kid just wanted to play ball, play something to have fun, and now he's dealing with this. His coach is heartbroken. His parents are sickened over the fact, and there's no foul play involved. This is just a kid hanging out in the dorms for the stuff, and he falls out of bed and falls on his head. No horsing around, anything like that. Just a freakish act of nature that just sort of happened. We are sending lots of prayers up for this child and his family and the team itself, because they're extended family. What's going on? It's the oddest thing about the Little League World Series always going on basically as school starts, so it's a little weird. Although these are basically travel teams, so they travel all the time. But this takes this long to basically get down to all the tournaments. But it's oddly odd when it pops up, because it's like school starting, football starting. We're still doing Little League World Series stuff. That's all kind of weird. But it is there. We're talking about this, and we're thinking about this child as he gets through these issues that he will have going forward. Bear with me for a second. I clicked the wrong button and the wrong thing popped up. Let's go on to Mercedes Varnado and Trinity Fatu. Sasha Banks and Naomi appear at She-Hulk premiere. She-Hulk is supposed to, premiere on Disney Plus tomorrow, I guess. And so the big premiere happened where all the lights and the flash bulbs and things going on. Seeing someone like Sasha Banks and Naomi at openings, at premieres, is not out of the ordinary, especially Sasha Banks, who now has a few acting credits under her real name, Mercedes Varnado. And of course, there are various times where various other WWE stars and other wrestling stars show up for these things. What happened was they showed up after not being on television for WWE for months, after their walkout very, very much months ago, and have not been scheduled to be on television for quite some time. We are told they have not been fired. They're still in the roster. They're still getting paid whatever they're getting paid, minus whatever penalties they have for the walkout they had. But Trinity Fatu, or Naomi, and Mercedes Varnado, or Sasha Banks, still holding ranks inside of WWE as a federation. But they showed up together as a tag team and bunch of friends to this premiere, not essentially representing the WWE, but because they're just famous people and got their tickets. That's just how it worked out on that end, showing off a lot of green and a lot of flexing some muscles, saying that, hey, maybe they can fill in for the She-Hulk going forward. Juwanna Mann actor Miguel Núñez Jr. shocks the internet after revealing his age. He's in his 60s. He's 63 years old. This is a guy that's been acting in a whole lot of things for a whole lot of time. And Juwanna Mann is like a 25-year-old movie itself. Remember him when he was in Tour of Duty back on the day, back when I watched it, back when I was a teenager. This is a guy who doesn't look a day over 40. I mean, this is a man who was blessed in the good genes, the black don't crack, in the male dominated mystery of being able to star and take roles on for a long period of time based on their age and not looking their age, as opposed to women who tend to look their age once they get into a certain point. However, we do have Jennifer Aniston, who's like 350 years old, who looks still like she's 37. So I guess there's that. Yeah. So Miguel Núñez Jr. Tells the world that he's actually 63 years old. And people are like, dude, no, witchcraft, definitely witchcraft. They're falling over their faces. This is something that's been going on in various different print-ups since late last week. And like I said, slow news day, so we put it in here, but you guys got a real jolt out of it as well. American Airlines agrees to buy 20 supersonic planes from Boom. Now, this is a story I actually trimmed out, but found out in the editing of the notes for the newsletter, it was kind of stuck in there. So check this link out. This is an interesting link because supersonics are coming back to going back to European areas, and American Airlines is on the cusp of that, on the front of that, buying 20 supersonic planes to get that party started. Wolfgang Peterson, director of Das Boot and Air Force One, dies at the age of 81. Check out the link to see a full description of the great works he's done, people he's worked with, and the things he's influenced that you may not even thought about because he's an older director. Das Boot is something that's not many of the millennials are checking out these days. And Air Force One, while a classic to a guy like me, kids these days. But check it out, his full biography, more or less, from the link in the story, and the full bibliography, more or less, from things he's done there as well. Let's talk about teasers. We're going to tease this story. Actually, we didn't actually put a good teaser story in there, so we're going to not talk about that as a teaser. I am going to talk about a story that is going to post soon. Bear with me, I press a couple of different buttons. The NBA schedule is not going to hold games on Election Day because to promote voting on November the 8th. There's no picture there, but trust me, it's going to post in about an hour. So look for that story, engage in that story. Don't look for the Omicron variant story because we ain't talking about them anymore. But we are talking about money, and we are talking about your money and my money, to a sense. We're doing Robinhood again, and to be honest, it's because I messed this one up too and did not get Robinhood and did not pull the newer ad in here. But Robinhood is a simple investment platform that is on your phone, plain and simple. What do they do? Number one, they allow you to invest in stocks, allow you to invest in bonds, allow you to invest in crypto, allow you to trade your crypto. They have various things to help you make money in this time of not so great money. They have access to IPOs of various different sorts. They let you know great reporting and great investment data going on. And they're still giving you a free stock just for signing up. It's that simple. Robinhood is a way to get into investing right now. Simply, even if you think now is not the time because the market is down, now is the perfect time to get into the market and play a couple things, get yourself lay down a nice little bed of a foundation before things go bigger. Now, the market is actually making its strides going up. It's still down on the year and down on pandemic times, although it didn't really go down too much. But it's basically rising on a weekly basis, a monthly basis. You're seeing gains for things going on. So things that are at a premium or at a discount, if you will, now may be the right time to buy that stock. I always suggest buying stocks that you know or going into research that you seem to understand and can trust. Not necessarily the ones you pay big money for. Don't listen to Kramer. Kramer's always wrong, basically. But just start off small, buy fractional shares. Apple may be at $100, but you only have to put down, you can only buy like $5, $10, $15 worth of it and get a fractional share and get all the benefits that come along with it, including dividends that pay. Go to this is the conversationproject.com/Robinhood. This is the conversationproject.com/Robinhood today and get yourself in on some stock. This is a affiliate link, so we do get a commission, a piece out of the action of this one, but you will not be disappointed. Just don't go betting the houses on Shiba Abu or any weird crypto right now, because crypto right now is bad, but it's a good place to lie down a foundation of some other things. Let's talk about news websites of note, or websites of note about our news. Starting off with this is the conversationproject.com, our main website where we house all the things around the Conversation Project. This thing here, things you might not have heard, all brought to you in part by More Better Media LLC, my main company for all my media stuff. But this is where you can still stop by the partnerships page and see there's a way that you can join up with us to help us keep things going, keep the lights on that are in my eyes and shining at Mr. Fish back there. Also, you can go to the sponsors page and see more sponsors and buy stuff from them. It costs you nothing extra. We get a little bit tiny affiliate piece for bringing you into the store. Our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. This is the Conversation Project on Facebook and th_conversation on Twitter. Every 50 minutes, we post a news story for you to follow. So when we post that story in the NBA not having games on election day, we need you to read it, number one, but like it, love it, hate it, engage with the story. The higher score of engagement it gets, the higher it gets chance to get to talk about it. Tuesday through Friday, we talk about stories in the top 15 out of 30, 35 stories. We take top 15, chop those off, and rate those by, story wise and what you said was in the range to talk about. On Monday, we do it big. We go 30 out of 90 or so stories. So we do more stories, and we give you about 9 to 15 of them. Today, we gave you 9 by mistake. Usually it's about 6 to 8 stories. Sometimes it's now, but not one. Literally one when I went to editing the info, it was there and it was interesting. So we went out on with that one. That being the boom selling the supersonic jets, which is an interesting business story, but wasn't quite as conversational. We put it there since it was there. TikTok, find us at the Conversation Project, and on YouTube, youtube.com/the Conversation Project. Find us there. So you're seeing this thing 5 days a week. Make sure you subscribe so you can get to us and hit notifications so that when we go live at 5:50 a.m. Monday through Friday, you get the ding or the things I get in. Basically, I'm getting notifications of videos being posted by one of the channels I follow. I'm trying to click away them because they're distracting, yet I click the wrong part and they pop up and start playing sound, which I've been doing a lot of lately because I'm clumsy. Let's talk about today things of note. For your birthdays, Robert De Niro hitting 79 years old on the day. Belinda Carlisle, 64 years old, of the Go-Go's, of course. And Donnie Wahlberg, New Kids on the Block. They had a bunch of hits, and he was a part of all of them. Of course, now doing more of the acting thing. So Donnie Wahlberg, brother of Mark, part owner of Wahlburgers. He's 53 on the day. Today is also number 2 pencil day. Now, I didn't want to, have a total letdown after yesterday being bratwurst and rum day, and we celebrated that quite a bit last night. But number 2 pencil day falls in line with back to school and all those things. So it's number 2 pencil day. So live with it. Your thing going out the door, one last thing to talk about is this one. Not your emotional support, Chihuahua, wasn't quite doing the job. Need support when you're gardening. If you live in North Little Rock, Arkansas, north of us, where I work actually, try getting a goat, an emotional support goat. Resident Willie Baker shared on Nextdoor that some new neighbors have goats, which is against the rules in North Little Rock. When cops told these newbies they had to get rid of the goats, they offered up a doctor's note saying they were emotional support animals. Willie's post says he's open for legal suggestions. Willie does not want the people happy and emotionally supportive with their goats. The people just want to be emotionally supported. From the first reading, I thought, hey, maybe we're having issues figuring out our pet for our new house and maybe we should get a goat. I guess Willie has problems with that. And yes, I do need to change my next door location because we have moved neighborhoods. And so I can get the craziness, not from the old neighborhood, but from the current neighborhood, because that's what people do. They check out next door to see who got shot, who got robbed, and who's got goats. Apparently, people in North Little Rock have goats. Thank you so much for joining us for this melee of news today. I am Jay Cleveland Payne with my cohort and business partner, Mr. Fish, back there behind the blue. which is all the same because he is blue and he's just sort of, not doing very much anyway. Thank you for being a part of what we have here. We love having feedback and love having comments. So comment in whatever video platform you're watching this, or if you're watching this or listening to this via the audio platform, it's just a snippet of the video in audio form. Let us know in the comments there, whatever platform you use there. Stay hydrated, stay focused, and stay on task. Oh, and stay limber. That's stay focused. I don't know where that came from, but you should stay focused too. You need to do the do's that you need to do the do's. We need you here for great things coming up, and we want you to be a part of it for as long as possible. We don't have we're not guaranteed forever, but for what we got, you should guarantee to do your best of that. Big ups to my man, my mentor, Mr. Vernon Wells, taking care of his morning show on the actual radio today. And also a love to my mother-in-law, Sharon, who had her birthday. We're not going to disclose her age, but we're going to say she's been 25 for quite some time, which is weird because, me and her daughter are both almost in our 50s. But we're going to go with that. Happy birthday again to Christina with a K from yesterday, and more glad tidings to all of you out there. We're done. We'll see you later. Do this again on a Thursday. Wearing a shirt. Let me know what you think about the shirt. And let me know what you think about the blue lobster, because I was kind of at a loss to what to put on the screen there. Comments are warranted. Stop by the feeds. Stop by sponsorships and partnerships. We loves y'all.